is the Fargo day. So, and then Saturday is the Gilby day. So it should be fun. It should be a good time. I am on a
6-day
6-day
Facebook
Don't say
fan.
anything about who's talking right now because nobody knows who's on the show tonight.
Okay.
6-book Facebook bang, so I cannot even advertise I am here. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Well,
I know like 2 or 3 people who are banned from Facebook.
yeah. What's his name got banned?
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of people.
I've never been banned from Facebook.
I'm more of a stalker on Facebook. I just look at everyone else's
Me
stuff.
too. I point and laugh.
See,
And then
I don't even do that anymore.
I point and laugh.
So I use Facebook Messenger significantly more than that's about the only thing I use of Facebook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, are we ready to go? Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Chad, Jesse, you good to go?
Yeah, if I drop out real quick, one of you will have to pick up my
Why are you gonna drop
thing.
out?
If I have to sneeze. If I have to sneeze, I'll drop out real quick.
I can literally hear Cam coughing upstairs. Can you hear that? Chad, did you hear that?
I heard something.
Oh,
That was Cameron coughing.
That's our kid coughing, by the way.
Yeah.
He's got a nasty cough. But he's been tested for Rona. It's negatory, so it's just a cold.
Just a cold. Those things still exist.
That's that. Believe it or not, those exist. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. Come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30. It is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have our co-host, Shorty Nets, in the next room.
Hello.
Hi. And please welcome to my virtual left, my other co-host, Chad. 427.
Howdy, y'all. It's time for some Space Invaders.
That's right, kids. Tonight's show, 7:35, recorded live on September 21st, 2022, is the Dr. Alien Mystery Solved. Phone lines are open. Skip us call 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. And for you international callers, you can call us free via the web at callstudio.com/show/GCPC. Before we get to Dr. Alien, Chad, we got to talk about Patreon.
That's right.
Guys, do it all the time. Costs a lot of money to make the show work. 2 ways you can help us out. PayPal, which is paypal.me/the Geocaching Podcast. You make that one-time donation. I love when I see that too, Chad, when I get the email, like somebody made a one-time donation at PayPal. That's awesome. Because I know it works. And people actually listen and go, oh, yeah, you know what? I don't want to like give them monthly money every month, but I'll knuckle up to the bar and I'll throw them $10 or 15 or $50 or whatever. You know, like I like those. Those are always nice. Or guys, you could do that. And we love that. And that goes straight to the bills. And that's awesome because the bills are plenty. But guys, also, you can join Patreon. Shit. Patreon, you get a lot more with that, guys. Patreon, you get extra audio, extra video, only available to Patreon members. You get Patreon-only shows. You get end of the year patron free giveaways. We give stuff away on a show. It's awesome. When the Patreon-only shows, you get path tags and stickers and coins and all that good stuff, all the swag and pins and all that good stuff. You get T-shirts in our store, Urban Tree Canopy, for like cost. We don't make a dime on them. We make nothing. So you want to become a patron, you can. You go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at Cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight, we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook made with genuine write in the rain paper. The logbook The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards a hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logworks.com. That's logwerk.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Be Gone soap, It Spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for shirt design and cannot find it, then you've come to the right place. Please give us the opportunity to show you how we can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by pattags.com. For all your swag and pattag needs, visit our website to get creative help, to trade or log tags, or to purchase your own personalized pattags. With over 44,000 tags to collect, pattags.com is everything you need to start your pattag obsession. Visit them at pattags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventures for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting us at geocachingadventuresllc.com. That's geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where I Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you're an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting us at geogo.com. That's GEOOH-geo.com.
And always, Chad, you can find links to our sponsors on our website or
in our show notes.
in our show notes. Chad.
So, Jesse, did you join the holiday mission?
No, I forgot
No.
all about it.
Again.
Did you?
It
Of course.
screwed out of her head. I didn't. It ends today, doesn't it? Oh, it ended today at 5, didn't it?
Oh, well, I don't know if she does. She's too hard up on that, but she tries to get it done by 5. She doesn't She doesn't do the mail out for another 3 days to allow some late people. But I've got 3 geocoins in here.
Oh,
I got a Halloween themed one. I've got a Christmas themed one, and I've got an Easter themed one. So I'm stocked up for.
well, look, you're ready to
I'm stocked up for the next 3.
Nice.
Nice. Well done.
That's awesome.
Well, we've got no news and we've got no emails. So that's good because we're going straight to the show. So tonight's show, Dr. Alien Mystery Solved. Chad, I asked you last week, do you know what Dr. Alien is?
Yeah, because I've done some of the Dr. Alien caches that are down in the Bakersfield area. There aren't any that are like close to me, but there are some down there that I have done, and they're the hardest caches that you'll ever do.
Right. So I've got 2 people on this. Excuse me. We have 2 people on the show tonight. Both of them working are the Dr. Alien. I know one of them was the creator of it. Definitely. I'm not sure what the other one, who was involved. I will get into that. Now, this is not a visual show. I've said that since the very beginning. This is an audio show. We're on video right now because it's live, and it's better than looking at nothing. So you better look at us. But this is worth seeing. So for anybody, I'm just going to bring I'm not going to bring the video, the audio in yet, but I'm going to bring the video in of Dr. Alien because we do have Dr. Alien on the show tonight. You guys didn't expect this. So we do have him. So I'm going to bring him into the stream. There's Dr. Alien. Can you wave, please? Hi, Dr. Alien. So we do have Dr. Alien. That's freaking awesome. On the show tonight. Now the question is, people going to be able to figure out who it is by the voice. is the $1 million question. That's just ridiculous.
Someone screenshot this, please.
Hold on, let me see. Let me so we can just get the there you go. There we go. Hold on, let me get him on the. I'm going to give you. Hold on, back up a little bit, Dr. Allen, so I can get you on the. Get you on the full. There we go. Give me a wave. There we go. Perfect. All right, thank you. All right. And like I said, it's not a video. So anybody listening at work or on the car, apologies. We have literally have Dr. Alien on the show. It's an alien costume person, and it's fine. So we got Dr. Alien. So we're gonna bring him on. We're gonna bring our other person on the show. We don't know who Dr. Alien is. We know who this person is. So welcome to the show. Let me unmute you. Wesley El Rojo. We got El Rojo on the show. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. And we have got Dr. Alien. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Really? We're gonna do that all night. We're gonna do that all night. All right. So I'm gonna start with what? So we know Dr. Alien started Dr. Alien, but like Wes, what's your involvement? Why don't you tell me your involvement with this?
Well, I was recruited by Dr. Alien to plant caches in California, and then I took it a little bit far to the extreme. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you know, for the official record, Jesse and I were also recruited by Dr. Alien to hide caches in Illinois. And
You guys were brought on before me.
were we?
Yes.
We didn't run with it like you did. We
No.
just hid our caches and went along our merry way. Waited for them to publish, went and found them again.
Yes. Yeah, because they weren't our caches. We just hid
Right? And we got to hide and find.
to hide and find. That's always the joy. Yeah.
I want to know why I wasn't invited.
Dr. Alien, why don't you invite Chad to join in? He did. Oops.
Yeah, I don't think he likes me.
Actually, we did discuss bringing you in, Chad. I don't know why we didn't, but as we were trying to think of who to invite, actually, part of the challenge of Dr. Alien was like when I was recruited was March 14th after the end of a GCPC show. Ian sent me a random message. He's all, "Can I ask a favor?" And I was kind of like, "Wow, that's weird." And then he asked me about Dr. Alien, and I was instantly in. But March 14th, 2020 was the week before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of the problem was trying to get Chad in was I'm not sure if they were publishing caches up there or not.
Yeah, because we were brought in the wintertime. I know that.
Yeah,
Definitely in the
I
winter.
think they might have shut him down for a little while.
So anybody, yeah. So I don't know. I don't even know who was.
Can I take this off yet?
Yes, you absolutely can. Go ahead.
Oh wait, hold on. We have a
I
guest.
think the
We
alien
do have a
is-
guest in a chat room here.
I think the alien is overheating.
Let's see who it is. It is. Oh, it's on a boat. Look at that. How about that? So you're Dr. Alien. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
One of Dr. Alien. There are many Dr. Aliens. So thank you guys for having us on to talk about this nonsense. And I appreciate you letting me have my funny moment. So, and I'll actually explain where all this gear came from. I don't know if even for the audience, there's actually a Dr. Evil
Is it really?
top that goes with it. You know, it's actually a whole wardrobe.
Yeah,
So,
it'll be explained how this came up and how it's still
absolutely.
apart, so to speak.
yeah, both sides of it
well.
actually. So
let's start from the very, very beginning. The very, very beginning.
yeah. So the very, very beginning is we were planning to host Midwest GeoBash 2020. We were planning this event. We had the theme picked out. We announced the theme in the summer of 2019 at Midwest GeoBash 2019. And then we I feel like he was like looking at my nose right now. Let's fix that. So we had started planning for this in July of 2018 or 2019, sorry. And we came up with the spy theme. We're going to do a spy theme for the event for the year. And as part of our event theme, we came up with these two rival factions of spies that were going to kind of be tied in with some event activities and some different things we were doing for the event. And fast forward to probably October of 2019, we're starting to gear up with how we can get things going for 2020. And I was sitting online. I was playing PS4 with Shaved Ewok. We were playing Borderlands or something, and we were sitting around one night on the weekend. We were having a beer, playing video games, and we were brainstorming ideas of how we could do something completely stupid. And we thought that the humor in all of this would be that the bad guy spies would be, their mission would be to take over the world with crappy caches. And we thought that Dr. Alien was the perfect villain, and we thought that evil Dr. Alien would take over the world with really crappy caches. And by take over the world, originally the idea was we were going to kind of take over Northern Ohio, and it was going to be kind of Ohio centric, right? And then we started hiding a bunch of caches. I hid a bunch, and from the get go, this was probably November, December 2019 when we started this. I looped in a few friends in the local area from the get go, and we hid. I want to say we had like 200 caches going at the very beginning or something like that.
Just in Ohio, we talking?
Yeah, I think we ended up with like almost 400 in Ohio or something like that. But knowing Wes, he probably has all the stats on all this stuff handy because he's a numbers guy. But so we started hiding these things around Ohio, and then we were like, wait a minute, we're not an Ohio event, we're a Midwest event, right? So we said, hey, we got a lot of friends, and that they would probably be willing to be a part of this that are in other areas of the Midwest, right? So reached out to our Midwest friends. You had already mentioned that you guys were included in that as well. We had other people in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Iowa, even. And we kind of just started taking over the Midwest, if you will. And the whole time there were different people that had access to the account. So it was kind of a really weird project where there were a bunch of us that were hiding caches and being Dr. Alien. And then there were other people that were like hiding caches as Dr. Alien, but they weren't like getting super involved. Like you guys had mentioned, but the whole thing was to hide legitimate caches. They were all
under one account, mind you. Under
one account. Like we were all that person, right? Like we were all
pretty amazing. I don't know if it's
that guy.
Has it ever been done before? Magnitude.
Not that I know of. Like to this level, no, I don't think so. Like I've seen some other like little tiny versions of this where there's like
you were everywhere. You were.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry. But basically, we had a lot of success and a lot of we had positive and negative feedback from it. A lot of people thought it was the dumbest thing they've ever seen, and some people found it hilarious and they loved the idea. They're like, oh, this works really well.
Oh, it's just stupid caches. It's
yeah. But I mean, we had a lot of momentum getting into. We're running up to March of 2020, and in early March of 2020, obviously we all know that the world kind of shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time we were kind of like, now what do we do? Right. Cause the plan all along was that we were going to hide all these caches and they were going to be some big lead up to an activity that we were going to do at the event in 2020. Right. And in July of 2020, all of these caches were going to get archived, was the original plan. So now all of a sudden the world shuts down, and somewhere in the middle of this, I don't have the time frame, right? Wes was doing a really good job of detail on the dates and everything, and I'll let him keep going on that in a second. But we we started recruiting a lot of other people, and it kind of spiraled out of control really quickly, to where we had people all over the country. We had people outside the country. We had people outside the continent. Like, it was nuts. So we can talk more about all the weird specifics and statistics of it and stuff like that later. But it was it kind of took on a life of its own. It was never supposed to be what it became. It became something more than we ever really thought it was going to be, and kind of fizzled out almost just as quickly as it started, if you will. Which is kind of unfortunate, but and then to my knowledge, I believe there were a few guidelines that have now been put in place since we kind of did all this. So,
oh really? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, but we can, I'll let Wes talk about his involvement and stuff like that, because honestly, of all of the people that were involved in this, right? Again, Wes kept really good track of this as well. I think there were at least like 60 people involved at one point or another. And me, Wes, and one other person put in the most work on this. Like, so out of the 1,400 caches that were hidden, the majority of them were done by the three of us.
Wow.
And I honestly, I never expected to reach out to a guy that I met through your show, that he and I had kind of, chatted back and forth and stuff like that. I never expected to reach out to him and say, hey, do you want to help with this project? And have him say, dude, I'll do more than help you. I got you. Like, let's have fun with this. Right. And he kind of just did this whole thing, and it actually gave Dr. Alien kind of a whole new life, more than we had intended to give it. Right. It became like this weird cult thing all of a sudden. But anyway, yeah, it was a ton of fun. We had talked about doing some other stuff with it after the fact and in the future and whatnot, and hasn't exactly panned out yet. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. It's basically, there are 1,400. What is it? 1,400 or is it 1,200? Do you know the number, Wes?
I have to go look it up. I think it's around 12-ish.
Yeah, it's 1,200. So 1,200 caches that were all hidden under one account across the world. Their first 1,000 were traditional caches. They were primarily guardrail caches, LPCs, things of that nature. After the first 1,000, there ended up being a handful of letterbox hybrid caches. I can't remember if we ever did the Maltese. I know I hit a bunch of caches that were designed to be Maltese. I don't know if they ever actually got submitted or not. And then there ended up being a bunch of Warrigos. Dr. Alien hosted an event. Wes can tell you all about that. So it was, yeah, it's crazy. So, but yeah, Wes has a ton of info. I'm actually amazed at the stuff that he was able to remember from this long ago. Because I don't remember beyond 3 days ago. But so yeah, go ahead, talk about all your stuff.
So hold on, Wes, before you start. So let's look at this as a whole here. So what started out with a simple little thing for a mega, it was a gag more or less for a mega, is what it was. Turned into exploded. And then do you think, okay, is that because of COVID that it exploded? That it became, obviously the mega was done. The mega didn't happen. Dr. Alien didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of people. I got a lot of feedback from people. They really enjoyed just like being a part of something, right? Like, as dumb as this was, like, some people were like, this is kind of fun to like be included in this and like be a part of the team. And it's like so secret. It's so fun.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Justin, like, yeah, well,
yeah. So
I had it in our neighborhood. We went out. We didn't do it here.
People got a kick out of it, and they enjoyed being part of it. And I sent little thank you gifts to the people that put up with us and the silliness and stuff. And because we also asked the people that were part of our team that were Dr. Aliens or whatever, we also asked them to maintain these caches, and the vast majority of them did. Right. Like I think I asked you guys one point to fix something on one of yours at the rest stop or something like that went wrong. Right.
Mhm.
The vast majority of people, they were really good sports, and they maintain these caches. There were a couple people that just hit them and didn't, and then it kind of made us look bad, and I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it mostly worked out. So, but yeah, it became a bigger thing off of a gag.
Yeah, I don't know if we would have got to that many had COVID not shut us all down, because they're kind of like Ian mentioned, there was kind of there's a few waves of it. So I hit the ground running. I had actually recruited Scott GSMX2 the night of. So as soon as we were done, and Ian had asked me, I'd already recruited Scott, and so pretty soon I was treating it like a clandestine information cell, where I didn't tell anybody who the head honcho sport was, and I also didn't tell them about each other. And so I've got my own little cache crew of about 5 guys. We all messaged each other, and I actually ended up recruiting 4 out of the 5, and I think they slowly figured it out, but it took them a while to figure out, oh, these other guys are in on it too. So I definitely had a lot of fun setting the sucker up. But Dr. Alien's got 1,303 caches, and it looks like we never did do the multis. That's 1,032 traditional, 107 letterbox, 1 event cache, 153 where I goes, and 10 adventure labs there at the Midwest GeoBash Wasion Fairgrounds.
Right. That's fun.
And in multiple countries too, right? They're not just all in the U.S.
Yeah, no, it's international. So part of the project is we still have to keep track and maintain the caches that are out there. And so, yeah, I think I've noticed a few in Norway, Australia.
Norway.
I'd have to go look and see where some of the others are. But yeah, they're spread out all over the place.
The countries were, so the U.S. obviously. So it's the U.S., Canada, Australia, Portugal, Norway, UK, and South Africa.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
No, and nobody's found them all, obviously. So. I shouldn't say obviously, but you know.
How many are there total? Yet. Yeah, good. Yeah. How many are there total?
1,303.
1,000. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, once Ian brought me on, like I ran with it. It was always kind of interesting because I wanted to help him out, because at the early days I didn't have access to the account, so I made a spreadsheet and had the spreadsheet system that I would send my recruits, and they would go plant their caches, put the information into the spreadsheet, and then I would move it on to Ian, and he was having to input all this into geocaching, and it's time consuming. Oh, and so
Ian actually worked.
Yeah, this is before I quit.
And so it was kind of tough for me because I've never met the guy, and I'm not in the Midwest GeoBash planning committee or anything like that. So I kind of was trying to be cautious about saying, hey, I'll do some of this work for you, because he might be like, I ain't giving you the password to our account. Well, eventually I think he realized, hey, this guy's pretty legit. He's taken ownership of it, and so eventually I got access, and then it was on. And so we don't have super good numbers, because I was pretty retentive about tracking my people, but basically the numbers I have was I planted 372 of them.
Wow.
You did personally? Oh my goodness.
Now
you found them all too. Did you find them all too?
No, I have not.
Really?
I've not named them all as found. So my rule for this, because we'll talk more about it in a minute. There was definitely a forum post about Dr. Alien, and it got rather heated. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Oh, I'm shocked.
It was interesting to see, our locals. It was a mixed bag. Some of the locals are like, "This is garbage," and I hate these things, and others are like, "Dude, I need to finish my 365 days, and this is making it easier."
It's a number. It's a smiley. What's the problem?
Yeah,
No.
and they're legit caches. I mean, it's kind of funny because you know how light pole skirts are. The noobs that go find light pole skirts, they think that's the greatest thing ever.
Oh my
And they
God.
love it.
Oh, yes.
It's
And
like
so we talk trash about them, but they love light pole skirts because it really is a clever spot the first one or two times. But we eventually expanded out past just light pole skirts. We also spread them out to guardrail caches and other interesting spots that really weren't that clever. But yeah, we moved them all over the place. And so part of the challenge was you had to work with local reviewers in order to make this happen. And what I kind of appreciated about the project was seeing how, frankly, how good our SoCal reviewers are. We've got 3 or 4 here in Southern California, and they were just easy to work with. And some others were a little more of a challenge, and maybe rightfully so, because they're a little nervous about, these foreigners, people out of their area, wanting to plant a bunch of subpar caches, and they're worried about it turning into geo litter. But we had a whole spiel typed up, and we would send it to the reviewer. And once we kind of started working with the reviewers, I think overall it was fairly positive. And so,
yeah, ours didn't give us a hard. Well, no, obviously we didn't have to do it. We just planted. We didn't. So you must have got a hold of our reviewer, obviously.
Yeah. It's a really good point. I was actually going to bring that up. There were a ton of reviewers that were involved in this. And the very, very vast majority of the reviewers treated us very well for as stupid as this was. Like I dealt with obviously quite a few of them in different countries, different languages, different like all over the place. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing was doing something like this. Obviously, Wes and I, me from the start, and then obviously Wes as well. Like Wes and I had a lot of discussions about making sure that we were following the guidelines, right? Like everything that we hid, we had a plan of how it's being maintained. These weren't throwdown caches that were never going to be maintained. Like they always had a plan for being maintained from the get-go, and that was the one thing that the reviewers appreciated. Like I remember when specifically putting in the first caches that Wes himself had hidden before he was putting them all on the account himself and stuff like that. I believe it was Tubed Flamingo. It's a Southern California reviewer, was the first reviewer that I interacted with in Southern California. And that person got a hold of me and they said, hey, love your write-up and everything. Thank you for explaining everything in your plan, your maintenance plan, everything. Like the reviewer notes, we had this template of like everything we put in these reviewer notes that was 3 paragraphs long. And they were like, hey, thanks for explaining all this. The only thing I need to make sure of is you said that El Rojo 14 is going to be monitoring this cache via a watch list. Can I reach out to that person to make sure? And I was like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. And so they actually sent him a message and said, are you actually going to maintain this cache? And he said, yeah, I'm going to maintain this cache. So that happened quite a bit. A lot of the reviewers in the background, they would reach out to the person that we said was going to be responsible for the cache. It was really cool though, seeing the different things that the different reviewers asked for. Like different places they would ask, like, who got permission for this? Like, who did you talk to get permission for this? And I'd be like, let me check with Jimmy down the street and find out who he talked to. And then I go to that guy and he'd be like, oh, I talked to the manager at Dollar General or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll tell him. And they were like, okay, cool. Thank you for checking on that for me. And, other places they'd be like, yeah, you're too close to whatever. Like we don't allow caches within 6 miles of a bank or something like that. And they have like different rules in different places. And it was just super interesting to see all the different styles of reviewers.
Well, it's funny because it's not all just by the book. Some of it is
yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. So anytime you're dealing with reviewers, a lot of the reviewers are local in our game because there's specific things that are needed at a local level, right? Otherwise, HQ would just have somebody in Seattle do stuff everywhere, right? But they need somebody in Ohio, they need somebody in New York, they need somebody in Florida. They have to know specifics about Florida, Ohio, New York, and the rules and the problems that have been dealt with there in the past and stuff like that. And I think I honestly I had an appreciation for reviewers before this because I've published hundreds of caches. We've talked about that in the past, but like working with them on this kind of level, on this kind of broad scale, big project, a lot of different people, it kind of made me appreciate the crap that they have to deal with and the questions they have to ask and stuff like that. And honestly, there's only one time, and Wes and I talked about, there's only one time that either one of us dealt with a reviewer that gave us a hard time about anything that we kind of disagreed with. But we worked through it and it was fine. So it was really cool. But yeah, probably 60 some reviewers were involved in this too. So, but
wow.
Scott,
good news
Scott
is
asked and- Go ahead,
the caches that we put out, Jess, are still there.
Yeah.
They are still there.
Yeah,
they were great hides.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, all of these were easily the most awesome caches of all time.
Exactly.
And so just to explain what that means for anybody listening or watching, from the very, very first cache, the very first cache was called Dr. Alien's Most Awesome Caches. Dr. Alien's Most Awesome Caches of All Time, number 1. And then the next one was called Dr. Alien's Most Awesome Caches of All Time, number 2. And so on and so forth. It went all the way up to, I don't know, 1,300 or whatever we're at. But the letterboxes were called Dr. Alien's Lovely Letterboxes. So, you know, the cache title, the cache page, and everything else was designed in a way to be a bit of a gag from the start. The cache page had a bunch of like 1990s looking glitter word art stuff on there, like you'd see on like MySpace page in like the early 2000s and stuff. And then at the end it says, in case you don't know me, my name's Dr. Alien. For years, I've been considered the greatest cache hider ever where I come from. Now I've come to the Midwest to share some of my most awesome hides with you. I know these hides will probably blow your mind and you'll be incredibly impressed with my extreme level of detail and creativity. Please hold your applause. And then they go out and they find a cache in a lamp skirt. So,
and then it says this cache plays for Midwest Geobash 2020.
It does, yeah. So, for anybody interested in looking at one, the very first one that was ever hidden, the GC number is GC8HZX4. So it's 8 Hotel Zulu X-ray 4 is Dr.
Ours the images are broken.
Yeah, they're all broken now. And that's actually we kind of let it slide as like a little bit more humor of like this guy can't even put a cache page together.
So for the record, Jess, we hit ours January 1st, 2020.
Wow.
Everybody hid theirs January 1st, 2020.
Oh, real? Okay. So we didn't actually do it. That's when we did it.
You need to go look at your published date to see when it
let's see when
actually published.
Yeah.
Scott in the chat, GSMX2 asked if there have been any new guidelines as a result of this effort. Tube Flamingo did mention to me a couple months ago that there will be no more Dr. Alien caches. It sounds like HQ must have got some flack about this, and so I do believe they shut that down. So if you're trying to create a huge blanket project like this, it might have been the one.
Not going to happen again. You can't do it again.
Well, the actual guideline that was created, I've never actually tested it to. I mean, this whole project was kind of in the gray area of the guidelines to begin with, right? And they were really good sports about letting us play our game and hide caches and give people fines and stuff like that. It was really fun. But the actual guideline that has since been created, whether it's because of this or because of some other things that were happening at the same time, is that in order to hide a geocache, you yourself have to have visited the location and placed the geocache. Now, the interesting part of that, though, is that both me and Wes are both Dr. Alien. We both use the account, and we both visited the locations and placed the hides. So again, we've never tested it. At least I haven't. But you know, what they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent people from having. I can't have Wes hide a cache in California then publish it under my account. Is kind of the spirit of that rule. But with that being said, it does kind of impact this project. And
yeah, you can't do it. Yeah.
So, but like I said, whether we created it or not, I do not know the answer to that. But there is a rule that was created that has since impacted this. So,
my guess that my guess is you probably had something to do with it.
Most likely, yeah. So,
or at least the enforcement of that rule.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So,
good.
So, what was going to happen? Let's talk about
the master plan. The master
an alternate reality where COVID never happened. What was the master plan?
Yeah. So the master plan was to hide a bunch of caches around the Midwest. The outside the Midwest stuff probably never would have happened until. Actually, it probably would have happened. I don't know if the stuff like overseas would have happened because that came a little bit later, if I recall correctly. But like we started expanding around the U.S. But what would have happened is we would have hidden a whole bunch of caches, and then we actually had this little like skit thing planned out, which is, as I mentioned earlier, it's the reason that I have this mask, the gloves, the costume. We had a whole wardrobe for it. And then on the flip side,
I'm assuming for Midwest Geobash.
For the event, yeah, for Midwest Geobash. So we were in Midwest Geobash 2020. The plan was we were going to have a skit on Saturday night that basically explained everything. So anybody that's been to Midwest Geobash in the past, going all the way back to 2014, 2015. When we lit the fires at night, there used to be like a very little miniature, like little skit thing that would happen. And I thought it'd be really cute and clever to bring that back because we haven't done it for quite a few years. Back in 2015, we had somebody turn a golf cart into a Batmobile. We did a superhero theme and they came rolling up to the Area 51 fires in a Batmobile. It was a whole thing. It was hilarious. So anyway, so we thought that we would do like a little evening skit, and the skit was going to have something to do with the good guy spies defeating Dr. Alien and saving the world from garbage caches.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this costume for Dr. Alien, and then we actually had another costume for Inspector Pigeon, which I left upstairs. I was going to bring it, and then I thought it'd be weird. Why is this guy? Why is this guy? Oh, dude, I walked into the bedroom. My wife's laying upstairs with the kid, and I walked upstairs wearing this, and I'm like, "Where's the mask? Where's the mask?" She's like, "What is wrong with you?" So it's very important. Someday you'll understand. But anyway, so the plan was to have Inspector Pigeon and the good guys defeat Dr. Alien and the bad guys, and then hack Dr. Alien's account and archive all the caches.
Right.
I had this plan in my brain of like we would get everybody back together. Hey, go pick up your caches, and we would like get Inspector Pigeon to like post a note on the cache page saying like cache has been secured, whatever. So, you know what I mean? Like whatever. And then all the caches were going to go away, and it was just going to kind of be like a pop up, pop down, and gone. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was kind of the gist of it. It was just going to be kind of a flash in the pan from. We started hiding them in November of 2019, and the goal was to have them archived by the second week of August of 2020, which would be about 2 weeks after the event. That was the plan.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because so I looked. We hit ours probably early February is when we hit ours. Because I remember it was winter, so it's definitely right around there. And I remember you saying like they're gonna get archived. Like it's. I remember you saying like, I know I don't want to get into it now. This is what you need to do, and if you're okay with it, I'm like, yeah, fine, okay. Like like all you gotta do is just hide them, give me the cords, and like it's. But so you know it's gonna get archived. It's not gonna,
the bigger issue with delaying everything was that we now didn't have like a, because we were using the same theme, we just postponed it by a year.
Sure.
We really couldn't just like archive everything. So now we had all these people that we had asked to maintain their caches
for a year,
for an additional year beyond what they had committed for
2 months.
Yeah. So they had committed in the beginning of, you know, hey, I'm going to hide this cache. Now the plan was we wanted to have them up for 6 months. So our plan was to stop to kind of, or the original plan was kind of stop in the beginning of February, and we wanted to have them out for 6 months. And then we had a couple more go through March, and we're like, all right, we're going to kind of let those go. Cause we didn't want them to be like temporary caches. They're supposed to be real caches, and they're supposed to be there semi-permanently and, you know, be there for 6 months minimum or whatever. So we wanted them to stay. And then we asked these people, like, are you okay with maintaining these caches for a minimum of 6 months? If you decide after 6 months you don't want to maintain them anymore, we'll get rid of them. Right. And everybody says, yep, absolutely. I got you. I'm on board. And then we turn around and we're like, listen, bro, it's going to be another year. Sorry, dog. And everybody's like, I don't want to do that. So it was kind of a weird year in 2020. We had a lot of caches get archived because we just like, you know, flipped them out and we're like, yeah, we don't want to maintain this one. So we're like, all right, we'll archive it. And then they went and hid something else instead or whatever. So, so that was interesting. You know, the nice thing was we really honestly did a good job of maintaining our own caches internally, where I think it took a really long time for any of Dr. Alien's caches to be archived by a reviewer. And to my knowledge, I think there's only been 1 or 2. Like I'm pretty sure that we have archived just about everything that needed to be archived. Anything that had an issue that wasn't being maintained, we archived ourselves and took care of it and didn't have to be intervened in by the reviewers, which I'm really proud of. So, so yeah, that's really, the story is really simple. It was, we were going to have this crazy thing and it never happened.
So, never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So Wes, let's go to the timeline real quick. Well, Wes set up this whole timeline of how it all happened. So let's start March 4th, 2020, after a GCPC episode, Ian contacted me. This is Wes, to ask a favor. I was instantly in, had recruits that night. I made a clandestine cell. I can't say it. I can't say it. So that's when it started. So Wes, you were brought in March of 2020.
Yeah, March 14th was my first day. I had recruits, and we were out planning. And the way I have all this detailed timeline is Ian and I are communicating through through Facebook Messenger. So I literally on Tuesday morning went through and had to hit page down forever until I could get back to that date. And then I kind of just was reading through our messages and seeing what was going on. And so the good news is, like, we never had any COVID restrictions here in Southern California, but a lot of places did. And so I think even Ohio got shut down. So they really couldn't plant caches, but I had no restrictions. So I ran with it quickly.
Right. So here we go. We're in March 27th. COVID hits, but it's no biggie in California. 35 in Bakersfield, 12 in LA, 2 in where's
Ohio? That's where Scott's from.
Is it Ohio?
GSMX2.
Yeah. I ordered 200 film containers. All my cache logs had geocaching spelled incorrectly. Fantastic.
So I had like 3 different versions, and it all had geocaching spelled, you know, with a SH or.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Dr. Alien was really stepping up his game. And so I didn't plant any in Taft because I didn't want anybody to think it was me. And then I actually, just to screw with everybody, there's a link in there if you guys want to go to Dr. Alien's gallery. So we're in the middle of COVID and we're not going to school. Everything's shut down. So I actually wanted to go on a geocaching run through Tulare County in Central California here because I was working on the Tulare County quads. And so I actually got a coworker, and it was odd because we hadn't really been around anybody for a while. Actually, I was still operating the gun shop here, but like at work and stuff, we weren't around people. We didn't know what to do when you went out. But a buddy and I hopped in my truck and drove through Tulare County, and I had planned this whole thing out where I was going to make him Dr. Alien. So if you click on that link to the gallery there, I took photos while we were out, and we planted some, and then found a bunch of caches. And this is a cacher by the name of Nut Lady, her territory. Awesome cacher. She is intense, and she's got a ton of favorite points. But the funny thing about the Nut Lady is it's really easy, and I don't mean this in a rude or any political way. It's no joke. It's easy to trigger her. And so if you put a TFTC on one of her logs for like one of her caches that's got hundreds of favorites, she goes off the deep end. And she's like, why are they putting TFTC on there? And she just can't handle. I'm like, dude, Sandra is her real name. Don't worry about it. Everybody knows your caches are great. You can't sweat that stuff.
Right.
So Dr. Alien goes through her territory, and I actually know where her house is, and I could plant a Dr. Alien hide like by her front gate. And so I have Dr. Alien is logging the caches as we go, and it's typical Dr. Alien fashion. Like he's talking trash about her caches. You know, this one was okay. You know, I've seen better. And so I've got him talking trash. I take photos of my buddy Spencer. He's a coworker. He teaches history too. And I take photos of him, but I put an alien face over him. So now there's this guy who supposedly is like, because I said, you know, hey, he called me because I found a bunch of his caches and I wanted him to plant a bunch of tapped, like 365 caches and tapped, so I could do my streak because there's no freaking caches and tapped that I haven't found or planted. And so I use that as a guise, and basically I had him go along with me, and I said that I messaged him, and he's like, oh yeah, give me a call, I'll go caching with you. So, you know, basically I've got this guy, and Ian's kind of laughing about it because he's like, everybody in Ohio is going to be like, what the hell, that's not Ian. You know, that guy's got a beard and wearing a Dodger hat. And so we basically did that. So Nut Lady's reading these logs, and she loses her stuff, just going off. And she messages me. She's like, who the hell is that guy? And she's just teed up. And so I'm like, hey, it's actually me. I wrote all those logs. She's like, what? I'm like, you should plant Dr. Aliens too. She's like, I'm in. And so like she is really a great cache writer, just absolutely spectacular. Well, it was her alter ego. And so she's going out and planting light pole skirts and garbage caches all over Tulare County. And then she'll go find them later, and she'll just talking trash about those caches, about how garbage they are. And so nobody suspected her ever. And so when we had our Dr. Alien Coming Out event, nobody suspected that the Nut Lady had planted Dr. Alien caches because, you know, she was clearly not a fan of Dr. Alien.
So Dr. Alien's found 62 caches.
Yeah,
I think that
there's actually a time, just to add to the silliness of this, Dr. Alien actually made an appearance at an event in Michigan. He found some caches in Ohio. He went to a mega event. He found caches in California. He's kind of all over the place. I always thought that we did a better job of hiding this than we actually did, and I guess that was kind of the humor of it. Was we're over here trying to do this super secret spy cell thing, and like, we don't want you to know. And then people would just come up to me and be like, you gonna put out any more caches? Like, what do you mean?
Deny, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. The problem is one of the very first people that I recruited to do this is a very good friend of mine. She is not good at keeping secrets. There are a couple people in this chat that can attest to that. Not a good secret keeper at all. So this is a secret is kind of blown from like day one. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So we found caches. I found some caches as Dr. Alien. Wes found some. So But yeah, Lisa says I need to be more secretive.
So we're gonna move to what, April 10th? When
That's what I just
geocaching
described.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay, you say you had a spreadsheet system with via Google Sheets that was used to number the next caches. It was pretty smooth setup for pretty intense operation. I got cache creation down to a science with 5 open tabs and lots of copy and pasting.
Yeah, so because you have to put in the coordinates, put in the cache name, have the number be correct, put in the description, put in the reviewer note. And so I basically would have 5 tabs open, and you're just copying and pasting from each tab one little spot. And it would take a while because we would build caches up. So it was kind of fun planting them because you didn't have to care so much. So coordinates are off 40 or 50 feet, close enough. I actually, because this was COVID, so we were having a department meeting via Zoom. And so I was actually on my phone with my social science department, driving around Bakersfield, throwing Dr. Alien caches under light pole skirts. And I mean, I'm in some sketchy parts of town, and just anywhere I see a light pole skirt, I'm throwing a cache. I mean, it's insane. So, but then I'd have to sit on them for a while, because if I was going caching somewhere where I actually wanted to find caches, I couldn't just plant them. I couldn't publish them right away because I had to give it some time so people wouldn't notice I was just through there. Otherwise, I mean, some people figured it out, but or had their suspicions. But so we would have 100 caches that we'd publish all the same day, and so you'd have to go through and publish them all, and it became quite a work. By the time I started on the alien head, we'll talk about the alien head. I actually made a macro that saved my keystrokes, and I actually did a macro with tabs so I could automate a huge chunk of that process, because I had to get 110 where I goes ready to go to all publish on the same day. So that was pretty intense.
Where is the alien head?
So there's a link to it down there a ways, the alien head art.
Everybody,
this
will all be in the show notes as well, guys. All these links are in the show notes. It says a link. So
it's in Taft. And actually, so the alien head, the reason I did that is, so basically Ian ends up announcing, or the Midwest GeoBash committee ends up announcing in late May that they're gonna have to postpone Midwest GeoBash. Well, I still never met the guy in person, but I bought tickets and I was heading to DC to tour town with my wife for 2 days.
Yes.
Drive to Delaware and then get my counties all the way back over to Chicago.
Right.
And once they canceled, it was kind of nice because there was no way I was going to hit Midwest GeoBash and do all that in time. So it ended up working out good. And so we did that trip. Well, we obviously were coming out on the Midwest GeoBash weekend. And so I actually met Ian at the fairgrounds on the Saturday night the bash was supposed to be. I went and dropped my wife off at the hotel at like 11, because we're countying across from, I think we had left that day from, Delaware. And so I was countying across to Wauseon, and so I dropped my wife off, and I went and hung out with Ian at the fairgrounds till like 3 a.m. And then we had to get up I don't know.
You got to shut him down.
7.
Sleep. He'll keep going.
What was that?
You got to shut Ian down, and he'll just keep going. You got to.
Oh yeah, no,
right.
we had a good time.
That's a long drive in and of itself, and then you're hitting the counties in between.
So we stayed up late, and then woke up the next morning, and that's when I went and found the front porch cache the next day. Thankfully, the hour I got back an hour there crossing a time zone, and then we flew back to California. So it was kind of cool coming out to meet Ian. But now, like, I had the challenge. Okay, am I going to come out to the bash next year, because we're going to finally have this Dr. Alien coming out?
Right.
And so I recruited some more people. We'll skip through some. There was a good forum post. I got that a link in there in July, and yeah, it was interesting seeing all the people that were happy or not happy with Dr. Alien. And
just so people can go again, you can read the links in the show notes if you want. But the overall, was it unhappy or happy?
I think it was a mix. It was only like 1 or 2 people that were really upset about it, or there was a couple people that are like, you're just padding your numbers. And here's newsflash to everybody: you should not care about my numbers, because I don't. I'm at 9,100 finds. I'm never going to catch the big
You're
dog.
padding your numbers by putting out catches as Dr. Alien.
Well, we're padding our stats because now our high, or if you go find them,
Adventure
because
Labs
the doctor.
for us. Don't worry. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dr. Alien difficulty and terrains though are a little bit higher, and whatever. It's like nobody really cares. Like, and if you care, whatever, don't go find them. What
No.
So it was never done to pad numbers. It was basically Ian being a troll to promote the Geobash.
No.
And then he hooked up with another intense troll, and we ran with it. So, but so we kind of had a lull, and then New Year's Eve was getting ready to come along, or New Year's was getting ready to come along there.
2021.
2021.
Right.
And I recruited some pretty prolific letterboxers and Where I Go artists. And so F. Binga out here in Bakersfield makes excellent letterbox hides with just some custom made stamps. And so I recruited him, and because I went out, and I think Ian did the same thing. We went to Amazon and just bought like 100 pack of like cheap stamps, like just kitty stamps that would fit in a 35 millimeter film container. Well, Freddie Fabinga, he's putting them in actual Altoids tins, which we can do out here on the West Coast where it doesn't rain as much, at least in our area. And he's got actual Dr. Alien head stamps, like hand carved.
Wow.
And so they're still scattered around Bakersfield. So we did a bunch of letterboxes, and then we started doing reverse Where I Goes. Well, I planned on doing the reverse Where I Goes in January of 2021, but I never got around to it. We got Webfoot down in the Los Angeles area. He started doing a reverse Where I Goes, Dr. Alien, and because that totally fits his mantra is having cheesy Where I Go, reverse Where I Go caches. So he planted a bunch, but his were all numbered like 112 and above, because I had saved 111 for my alien head concept. And so time kind of got away from me. We were getting closer to Midwest Geobash, and I had a small window in June where I had to go out and plant 110 Where I Goes around Taft in the hills there. But being the troll I am, I basically contacted Tube Flamingo and said, hey, I need to publish the first one of this series, and I need to publish early. And then I'm going to talk trash about reviewers, and I'm going to go post this note. And it's in the Subterfuge link. You guys might enjoy it. Well, it's a lot of searching. But basically, I published the cast early. Then I went and talked trash about the reviewers about how I told them not to publish it early. And now the cat's out of the bag, and there's going to be 110 by 3rd, 2021 for the FTF hounds. And they all got excited. They're like, oh, heck yeah. Reverse Where I Goes, no problem. We'll cheat those. But what I did is this actually is the probably most legit Dr. Alien series. Like they're real caches, and they're not easy, and they're all different. And there's not a single light pole skirt involved. And so I basically bought a bunch of green matchstick containers, like 200 of them. And so what I did is, to keep you from doing the reverse Where I Go so easy, you have to go out in the field, find a sign that's got like a phone number on it. And then I've got some of the numbers in the phone number are assigned letters. And those letters are in the reverse Where I Go code. So you can't just game it from your house. You got to go out in the field to do it. Oh. And then the other thing I did is I got a 2-mile radius that I can use. It's not in any order whatsoever. So I basically, if you find number 1, and it might have the code just be normal. If you find number 2, you got to go find the sign. It's 2 miles to the west. Number 3 sign is 2 miles to the north. Number 4 sign it's regular. It doesn't have a sign. 5 is like half a mile the other direction. And so if you were to go out and try to do them in order, you would probably drive 200 or 300 miles in this, like, I don't know, 10 mile square, and it would take you weeks. So all the FTF hounds show up, and they're just like, you've got to be kidding. They thought they were just going to go, or even just drive down the road and just every 0.1 miles just be like, oh, there's the next one. Oh, there's the next one. Oh no, it was it took some work. I did some work on this thing. Even got my truck stuck as I was out planting them and had to like dig my truck out of the sand for like 2.5 hours because I was too proud to call anybody to help me. But yeah, it was pretty intense. So that series is still there, and I'll keep maintaining it. And it's starting to attract quite a few people that were going to the 20th would like come out of LA, hit that sucker, and then drive up to Seattle. So I've attracted quite a few international cachers coming through to do the alien head.
Nice.
And again, it's pretty well done. Real good variety. It's all the same container, but they're all in all sorts of different unique spots, and some of them get some favorite points, and so it's been fun.
And so, Ian, why don't you tell us about the coming out party?
That was all Wes.
Oh, that was all Wes.
He did that. Yeah, he did that in California. I thought.
So what I did,
but
so I went ahead and flew to Midwest GeoBash, and the cat was kind of out of the bag for the couple of Kern Countyers that went out there, but I wanted to do an event in California that basically kind of kept everybody guessing about who Dr. Alien was, and I wanted to basically say, okay, it actually wasn't just one person; it was actually several. I actually made a game out of it, so we had an event at a local brewery, and everybody showed up, and then I had a game sheets, and it said, okay, guess how many, here's a list of names. Try to get, no, actually, I didn't even give them names. Try to guess who found this number or who planted this number of Dr. Alien caches. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, I was the number one at like 372. But yeah, it surprised them because like Scott, GSMX2 was on there, Nut Lady was on there, McMike, there's quite a few of them on there, H2O Clan. So basically, we had this coming out party, and we're waiting around for Dr. Alien. Everybody's like thinking it's me, but Dr. Alien's not here yet. Well, in comes my coworker. I conned him into actually showing up to the event. The guy that was in the photos with his face covered, he showed up, and he's got his wife and like his like less than 1-year-old. He just had this new baby, like 2 or 3 months old, and they show up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Dr. Alien," and everybody's kind of like, "I could have swore it was El Rojo. What the hell's going on?" And so we kind of kept it up for 5 or 10 minutes, and then he actually started reading, who was like had the most numbers and all that, and eventually he's like, I'm actually just Wes's coworker, and yeah, it was all him. So that was kind of, and I even planted a Dr. Alien at the event, and it published while we were out there, and that actually was a good container. It was actually a little alien head that I bought on Amazon for like mints, so it worked out good.
That was the last one hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so what about, so we get to 2021 Midwest GeoBash.
Mm-hmm.
I know I think his event was past it, wasn't it? When is it? The bash is in July, right?
July, yeah.
Yeah. So in July, we have the bash.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Alien, so you never did the skit. The skit
Nope.
wasn't there. How come you didn't do the skit?
So the biggest issue that we ran into was, so Ohio really sucked for COVID, and we had a lot of restrictions from the government and stuff like that, and the biggest one was that we weren't allowed to have gatherings of more than 10 people, and we had postponed Bash to be in July of 2021, and obviously most of you guys know that we were also hosting our Ohio Geo Clash event in June of 2021 as well.
Yes.
And so with the Geo Clash event, we didn't actually know that event was going to happen until 3 days before the event happened. That event, like the health orders, we got a 2-week notice that the health orders were going to be lifted on June 1st or something like that, and then the event was going to be on the 5th or whatever day that was. So the same kind of thing happened with Bash, where we didn't know Bash was actually going to happen until May, like when we were kind of hearing that, okay, these orders are finally going to get lifted and we're going to be allowed to have a big event, right? Because HQ actually has some policies in place where they make us explain to them how our big events are in line with the current health guidelines or whatever. So until those got lifted, we couldn't host a mega event. So we didn't know that the event was happening, and then all of a sudden we found out, like, we had a really good feeling the event was happening. We're like, all right, time to go full speed ahead and get everything done. And we had really kind of postponed a lot of things until the last minute, trying not to get ourselves in like a pinch again, like we did the year before. So we were so focused on getting stuff ordered, getting all the vendors straightened out in terms of, like, you know, the porta potties and the tables and chairs and tents and whatever else, right? That all of the other crap kind of fell by the wayside because we were so focused on doing everything else in such a short window. So all these brilliant plans that we had kind of didn't happen. The only thing that we had really planned out ahead of time that still happened was the spy trail geocoin thing that we did, because we already had the coins made for it and we couldn't, like, not do it. But even that ended up being, like, super watered down, if you guys remember doing that.
Yes, I remember doing that. I don't remember doing that.
It was the little rectangle coins, and you had to use the decoder coin to solve the puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Amp the cards with the little hole punch thing, and then you come back.
Yeah, I have all that stuff. I didn't do it. I have the decoder. Actually, I have it. Literally have it right here.
She literally has it right there.
What a failure!
Why do you have it right there?
That's not it.
That one? No, not that one. It's the big one.
It's a big one with the
No,
red.
it's over
thing.
there. It's the
Oh, I
great big
got
one
that one.
with the
Yeah, I
red
got
thing.
Oh, the
Yeah.
red thing. That thing was huge.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
This one's from that event too, though.
That's from this year.
That's this year.
So yeah, basically, we kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. It got to a point where we had to figure out, like, okay, what's important to get done and what do we not care about? And this was one of the things where we were like, not this year, not really that worried about it. We just need the event to happen, you know?
Right.
So,
Sure.
which really sucked because we had spent 2 years kind of building towards it. And then all of a sudden people are like, so what happened? Like, what's the end?
No payoff. Yeah, there's no payoff.
So it kind of just like fizzled into retirement, I guess.
But it's still active, though.
It is. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It's you know, there's 1,300 caches.
Yeah, let's talk about where we are today. Where are we today? Let's finish this off with where we are today.
608 caches have been archived out of 1303.
Wow.
So there's still 700 caches out there in different countries and stuff too. So 52.98% are still active.
Includes ours. Ours is still there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if they're real caches, right? So if they're still living and or being maintained, then they're fine. If they're clearly showing signs that they're not being maintained, or the cache is going missing and then not being maintained, we're archiving them. You know what I mean? So
Understood. Yeah, sure.
so it's been cool to see it survive, right? Like, kind of my proudest, you know, my proud dad moment out of this whole thing is that in the grand scheme of things, right? This is the first caches didn't go live until middle of January of 2020. And since January of 2020, so about 2.5 years, we have helped geocachers of the world come up with 61,956 finds that they otherwise wouldn't have had.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, so that's 61,956 found logs by 9,457 cachers. And I don't believe that includes the lab caches that Dr. Alien put out.
Yeah, he put those out at Midwest, right?
Yeah, but I don't think those stats include that. So
Yeah.
probably
I think
another.
did we find that one this year?
We
I'm
did.
sure he did. Yeah.
Dr. Alien, the 10 stager that Ian decided to make it a
Yeah, because it was sequential. And I
sequential.
did the first stage last year, and then I was like, oh, it's sequential. I've already been there. Forget it. And so then we did it this year.
Nobody ever said Dr. Alien was a nice guy.
Or Ian was a nice guy for that matter. So there are Dr. Alien not coins, but like a trackable. There is a Dr. Well, I do own one. It's somewhere in a drawer.
Yeah, so that was actually the other fun part of it.
Jesse might have one.
Yeah, that was the other fun part of it was originally, back in the very beginning, we actually made these silly little Dr. Alien trackable tags.
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Yep. So we made those
Come on, Jess.
as hey, show it, make Jesse big. There you go. Ta-da! Yeah, he's adorable. So now you guys understand my coat or my suit jacket.
That makes no sense.
But I didn't have a white cat. I should have brought my white cat. But
So how were those given out?
yeah, so we intended to make those as a thank you gift to the people that hid caches and maintained them. And then it started getting kind of unwieldy and stuff like that. So I sent a whole bunch of them out to the people as thank yous and stuff like that. And then people enjoyed them so much, we ended up making more of them and kind of just randomly gave them away at the event. So like, I think I had another 250 of them made, and between me and the rest of the planning team, we would just keep a bunch in our pocket, and we would kind of just go around and stick them in people's pockets or stick them in their car windows when their windows were down, and just leave them all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But they were originally meant to be kind of a thank you to the people that hid caches and maintain caches for the project. So
Nice.
Yep. So
Yeah, I think that's how I got mine. I think you sent it to us. I think if I remember correctly.
probably I probably sent you.
The best part of it is on the back it says, "I survived the alien invasion at Midwest Geobash 2020."
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
And 2020 never happened, so the whole thing was wrecked.
Right. That's the best part.
Well, actually, I was at GeoBash 2020.
You were.
Yeah, so that's the other fun part too. Was like we ended up like postponing the event, and then and really the event was postponed because of those health orders, right? So the county, the city, the fairgrounds, everybody was like, yeah, you guys can absolutely come here. Like we don't care, right? It's July of 2020. Like they're like, yeah, do whatever you want. We don't care. We're like, all right, cool, whatever. And then HQ's like, we can't let you do that. If like, even though the local authorities and everybody else say that, like your governor still says 10, and they were having sporting events and stuff. Like you could have sporting events in Ohio at the time and whatever. You could go to Cedar Point, you could do whatever. But HQ said, because of this guideline, we have to be fair to everybody. We can't allow you to host this as a mega event because of the 10-person limit health order thing. So basically it came down to the event's going to get retracted. Like they're just not going to let us have it as a mega event. You know what I mean? Like unless we do it ourselves. So we were like, fine, that's fine. We'll postpone it to next year. So we did. But we decided we were going to go have Midwest Geobash anyway. We just weren't going to broadcast it to the world as a mega event. So there were the biggest gathering of people at that event was probably about 20 people at one point. There were a bunch of us that camped there. Three of the organizers stayed there. The other one lives in town. So at one point, all of the organizers were there. We had, Wes came through. We had a bunch of other people from Ohio and Michigan, and where somebody else came from somewhere else too. But we had Pennsylvania. We had people from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all show up at the fairgrounds and basically camp for the weekend.
Did it rain?
It did not. It was actually a beautiful weekend. It was the perfect weekend. It was so sad. It was like in the mid 80s and mix of sun and clouds, and it was just fantastic. Light breeze all weekend. So we had our little Area 51 fire with some drinks. We had breakfast on Sunday morning, and it was like, basically just bash without the mega event. So it was really cool. So yeah, we still, in our brains, we still had a bash of 2020. So as sad as it was to not do it for real, but
Okay. Well, that is the tale of Dr. Alien.
That's
Is
it.
there anything we left out? Do we have it all?
No,
No,
the only
just-
thing I wanted to say was and Wes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The only thing I wanted to say was obviously you had me and Wes on the show, and like I said before, I think we're two of the three most involved people in the whole project. So I think we're the ones that can really speak to everything that happened. But with that being said, this whole thing wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the other 68 plus people of the team that were involved in this, right? So I'm not obviously going to name everybody's names. That would take way too long. You guys were involved. Thank you. Chad, you were on the list. You just never happened. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I love you. There's a whole bunch of people in the chat. Sean from Arted Crafted was involved, and Shaved Ewok was involved, and then a bunch of these other people in here. So GSM times 2, I saw him. But yeah, there's like Australia. Craig, see my shell. He did the Australia ones. So like I ended up making friends from your show, made friends from like some other geocaching groups that I'm in and stuff like that. So yeah, none of this would have happened if people weren't awesome. The geocaching community is pretty cool, being able to do some stupid stuff like this. And like I said before, the reviewers were fantastic. So if any reviewers listen to this, they were involved in this, thank you guys for being good sports. I know it's probably hard, but thank you for being a good sport. So yeah, and other than that, I mean, for the most part, people were really receptive to it. You don't get almost 62,000 fines by people not wanting to do your stuff, right? So there were enough people that found some value in this, that enjoyed it enough to go find our caches 62,000 times. So really cool. Yeah. So thanks.
Very well. Yeah. Wes, final words? Anything else to add?
No, Ian, for making me a part of this. I hit the ground running with it, had a lot of fun, and just thanks to everybody that helped plant. And one thing I would encourage people is, even if you're tired of light pole skirts, noobs love them. And so even as we continue to maintain them, and we get messages from new cachers, hey, I'm having a hard time finding your cache. And so as we continue to maintain the Dr. Alien account, you get to see some of these new cachers that are really enjoying these caches. So, it's easy for some of us experienced types to just be like, whatever, I don't care if it gets smuggled. Well, it's kind of a drag when, because that happened out here where we were DNFing them like crazy because people weren't being careful, or somebody was just straight stealing them. We couldn't quite figure it out. But if they're not being careful going and getting them, that's a drag for everybody else that comes along. So, they are real caches and treat them accordingly. But, also at the same time, if anybody has a good cache idea where there's a Dr. Alien blocking you, just message us. We'll be more than happy. And Dr. Alien will talk trash. He'll be like, I know your cache is going to be good as mine, but I can't prove that until you go plant your subpar cache. So we're freeing up the area for you. Go for it. But, yeah, definitely let us know, because we want you guys to plant good quality caches and not just a light pole skirt. So I really had a lot of fun with it. Thanks again, Ian. And it's just part of the fun.
Hey, real quick, Scott.
Yes.
There are two things I want to say. Number one is lifetime average for Dr. Alien since the first cache got hidden. He averages 64 finds a day, to like spread out over 2.5 years, 64 finds a day. Additionally, we've sat here talking about how terrible Dr. Alien's caches are.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Alien has 290 favorite points. So
now, let's sort that by cache type.
290 out of 60. How many?
Hey,
how many?
290. I don't care where they came from. I don't care where they
How
came
many finds?
I don't care where they came from.
It's like
I bet
60,000.
280 of those are on the reverse Warigo alien head.
Right.
Probably. Probably 200 of them. Well, yeah, probably 200 of them.
All right, boys, you hang on, okay? Thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys hang on a second. I'm going to mute you. Chad.
Uh-huh.
How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing pretty good. You?
Yeah. How many Dr. Alien caches have you found, Chad?
Only 2.
Only 2?
Yeah.
Really? Only 2?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, guess what, Chad?
Mm-hmm.
Next week, our final. It's the end of September next week. Almost the end of September. We're finishing up our guest our guest month, I guess, for lack of a better term, on this. Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
would you be, upset if we had another Jesse on the show?
No, Jesse's a great name. The more the merrier.
Next week, Chad, we got
Mhm.
JT Coffee coming on the show.
Oh yeah.
JT Coffee is a lackey from Seattle. She's the community volunteer support lead. And her name is Jessie, right? I think her name is Jessie.
Yes, her name is
Mhm.
Jessie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking out of turn. All right. We're gonna have Jessie on the show coming to talk about what it's like to work for our wonderful geocaching headquarters. Again, she's the community volunteer support lead there. So we're going to talk to her everything about what she does. Should be a fun and interesting show, getting a little inside scoop into headquarters. We just been there.
Yeah, she's a great lady and cashier and fun to chat with. So looking forward to having her on.
We're going to have her on. She's going to be here next week. We're going to have another Jessie, the dueling Jessies. That's what we're going to have.
Yeah. Well, we've had Chad before.
Yeah, we've had dueling Chads.
Have we had Scott?
Yeah.
I think we've had.
Yeah, we've had Jeff. We ever had Jess
Scott?
sometimes too on the
Yeah,
show?
we've had Scott before,
Has he
so
been
it's
on
about
the
time
show,
we have
like-
another Jesse.
Like as a guest, is Jess sometimes? Have you been a guest on the show? Yeah, it's the Route 66 show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. All right, so it's about time.
Exactly.
So we got a dueling Jesse now. All right, guys, that's next week's show to round out September. That is next week's show. Conversation with the lackey JT Coffee. So, Chad, we're going to North Dakota this weekend. Going to be a good time. We're looking forward to it.
Have fun at Gilby.
Gilby, we're gonna get the
Gilby going wild.
gonna get the Fargo.
Fargo.
Wait, where's Ian? Hey, Ian. Hold on, I gotta get him off mute. Ian. Hey, Ian.
What's up?
We never got our coins, by the way. I'm calling you out live on the show.
They're over here somewhere.
I'm calling you out live.
They're on my kitchen table. They're out there on my kitchen table.
They're on your kitchen table.
I got you.
Our coins.
Yeah, see all this crap right here on this dining room table over here?
Yeah.
This is all my cash and crap that I brought home from the events just sitting here on my table.
And your wife let you get by with that?
Yeah, what a wonder. He's got a wonderful, wonderful patient.
Yeah, she's a good sport. She's a good sport. Her house is a nightmare.
Very good sport.
It's about like my dining room table that's covered in yarn.
Yeah.
I'm a good sport, so I'm very patient and a good sport.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Ian. Thank you. So just let you know we still haven't gotten our coins yet, FYI. And that was from when? July? When was Clash? When was that?
June.
June. Oh,
That was last week.
yeah. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna get the Fargo. We're going to Fargo to get the help me
Geotour.
Geotour before it closes. Yeah, and then get some Tricassius caches. It's gonna be a good time. So, Chad, you be well. You have fun.
You too.
You be safe. Jesse, always a pleasure to have you. Your input
See-
on the show was
I
encouraging.
had so much to say, right? All right. See you in a minute.
Wait, Ian's coming back on the show.
Oh, look, he has our coins.
Are those ours, Ian?
They are.
They are trying to say.
Hey, shameless plug. If anybody wants to come to Ohio and do a Geotour, we got a couple coins left. They're going fast. So.
Which one is that one? That's the
It's the Explorer
Trumbull-
Trumbull County Geotour. It's in Trumbull County, Ohio, Warren, Ohio. So if you guys want to come
That
check
was a
it
good
out.
one.
that was a good one. Yeah, it was a good. It was a lot of baseball parks.
No. That
No,
was
that
the
was
other one.
Bash. That was the
That
crap
was-
one.
that
Bash.
Oh, that was
Bash.
Bash. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
no,
is-
Trumbull
this is
County
the
was
one-
really good.
This is the one with the
Is that when we went to your neighborhood? We went to your.
McKinley. Yeah, you went to my house. Yeah, McKinley Museum, the Airplane Museum, the Packard
Mhm.
Oh,
Museum,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Neil
That was a really good
Armstrong
one.
lander
That was,
thing.
oh yeah, that was a good one. Yes, that was
Yeah.
really good. Yes. Yeah. All right, that was a good one. I concur. That was
Anyway, I'll get them out in the mail. Here's a picture of it. There you go. Woo, pretty. So, all right, I'll get them out to you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So next week, JT Coffee. Guys, be well and be safe. Let's close this show. We're going way past our bedtime here. So here we go. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archive video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on your favorite podcast channel. If you like the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the Make sure you click the subscribe or get notified button to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you will get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our Patreon members. Just head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocaching Magazine, the Max Sense Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Art and Crafted, PatDecks.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make that purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, and we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones. We'll talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. There we go. Oh, Ian says as of right now we're down to less than 20 coins.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Wow. How about that, Ian? All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us tonight in the chat room. You guys are always a lot of fun. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Everybody be well and be safe. If you're up in North Dakota, say hello. Might even have some swag for you. So you guys be well and be safe. Bye-bye.